Check. 1, 2, 3. We're recording, right? Everything look good?
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Jedi Jive? Welcome back. We're going to do another Ahsoka reaction, episode 3.
So excited.
Joining us again is my sister, Jenny.
Hi, guys.
Love having you here for this, Jenny, particularly because you offer a little bit of a different perspective in the ways of not being as completely obsessed with Star Wars as I am. You haven't seen Rebels. You have a vague understanding of Clone Wars and the general...
Right. The general storyline.
So these first two
the
episodes
specifics.
of Ahsoka for you were more like you see this from the people that are joining this, not knowing you're fresh to a lot of
and
this.
the great thing was I didn't feel lost at all. Not for 1 minute did I feel like I was confused or didn't know what was going on last week. I felt like I had like perfect context. I had everything I needed.
Cool, glad to hear it, because that was probably primary concerns I had going in, was that people that were fresh to it weren't going to get anything out of it. With that said, I think the first two episodes were total success. There wasn't anything crazy that happened. Sabine got in a lightsaber fight and got stabbed, and there was that whole scenario, but she's fine. There was a little bit of confusion on my end, not understanding why the whole Ahsoka the White scenario wasn't playing out, but I understand now that I've seen Dave Filoni mention that they intentionally changed that scene so that Ahsoka the White is down the road and they have room to develop the character into something new.
That makes much more sense to me. She needs to go through some kind of emotional journey.
Makes a lot more sense. Somebody else pointed out that the staff that she had in that scene in Rebels as Ahsoka the White could even be seen potentially as that same Beskar staff thematically as the one that ends up going to Din.
Right.
Maybe that is what Dave meant to do. Anyway, a few things I wanted to mention. The Loth Cat, when I watched this over again, I was like, that is probably the best animal effect I've seen in a long time, if at all. It's just that where you're just like, it doesn't matter whether it's practical or animated, I just believe that that's a cat. It had cat behavior. The animal behavior really is just so convincing, and like, props to the animators for making that little seemingly side character that's just a detail like do so much to make the environment believable, because we have been talking since Andor about how the day-to-day little everyday nuance and detail of the Star Wars universe is so like rich, and there's so many little things, like
it's very compelling,
as simple as feeding your cat, that getting immersed in the universe like that really does bring you in more. Baylan and Shin are these orange lightsaber wielding dark Jedi characters that we don't know if they're going to end up being bad or good, or just like really just sort of this in-between style character that's really interesting. That Baylan mentioned sort of remorse for the idea of potentially having to hunt down Ahsoka because there's so few Jedi, so that his character always seems so interesting to me. And when you add on top of that Ray Stevenson has passed away, and it has that extra enigmatic like presence to it, because you're like, wow, this is this guy's last performance. Like, it really has that much more weight to it. So like right now, I think I'm most obsessed with, like, I want to know about Baylan and what his story is and how he ended up getting an orange lightsaber, and potentially Shin, I think she's his daughter. I think that makes the most sense because she has like a Jedi braid. She's young, so she wouldn't have been part of the Jedi back Order 66 era. She'd be just after that. So there's so much. This Merrick Inquisitor character, a lot of people think that this could be Sam Witwer playing Starkiller Galen Merrick, who is essentially Darth Vader's secret apprentice. So I was pointing out how poetic it would be to have Darth Vader's apprentice fighting Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. I think that would be a great reveal. Anyway, too much speculation. We're excited to jump in and see episode 3, guys. We'll talk about it afterwards. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Great ambiance in the music. Yo. Oh, okay, she's learning forms. Jedi forms.
Not bad.
Oh, cool.
He's got the record of all of her strikes.
Well, I discovered that according to Hu Yang, I'm the worst candidate to be a Jedi out of every Jedi he's ever known.
You told her that?
It's true.
Put this on.
It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke.
Can't see. How am I supposed to fight?
With the blast shield down, how am I supposed to see?
With the blast shield down, I can't even see. How am I supposed to fight?
They're mirroring Obi-Wan and Luke in A New Hope.
Do you know where I am?
I'm one with the Force, and the Force
next to Hu Yang. Are you sure?
Nice.
Anger and frustration are quick to give power, but they also unbalance you.
Hu Yang is unamused.
Let's go again.
Well, he's been around for centuries. He's seen it all. That was such a cool scene. Between the Eastern sounding music and the wooden buck and sabers, practice saber, the dojo feel of it.
Yeah.
Such a cool samurai scene. Okay,
Chancellor
there's
Mothma,
Mon.
senators.
Hera.
Love Mon Mothma.
How's young Jason?
Fine.
Jason. First mention of Jason.
Causing trouble with Chopper, no doubt.
Mm.
And they have all taken an oath of loyalty.
Long live the Empire doesn't sound like the kind of loyalty we're looking for. I believe their activity speaks to a larger operation.
It always does.
Involving Thrawn.
That caught her attention.
But how is that possible? He disappeared years ago.
I have reason to believe he is alive.
Isn't this just another attempt to gain New Republic resources to aid in what has ultimately been your personal quest to find Ezra Bridger? And that you conveniently use a threat of Thrawn's return to acquire those resources?
Were you ever in the war, Senator?
No.
Just sat back and waited to see who came out on top? Thrawn is not your typical Imperial officer. I know because I fought against him. He killed friends, people who were like family to me.
Grand Admiral Thrawn is dead. And I'm sorry to say, it is my opinion that your friend Ezra Bridger heroically died with him.
You don't know that.
Allow me a moment to speak with my colleagues.
Speak some sense into them.
Mom!
Jason!
Is it
Oh
true
shit!
Anakin's gonna be a Jedi?
Now, where did you hear that?
Yo! Okay, they're making this just not a big deal.
I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I know you do, Jason.
Quick, bring you up to speed. His father's Kanan Jarrus, who was Ezra's master and was a Jedi. So he's
Potentially.
he's got the Force.
Yeah.
I can't use the Force. I don't feel it. Not like you do.
The Force resides in all living things, even you. Not everyone can handle the type of discipline it takes to master the ways of the Force. Start small.
You realize, historically, there have been very few Mandalorians who ever became a Jedi.
I don't need Sabine to be a Jedi.
Tar Vizsla, Grogu.
I suppose you do come from a long line of non-traditional Jedi.
If they're gonna have her try, I don't know. They're kind of slightly hinting that maybe she does have the Force. It's just one of those she has to get there. Like Luke Skywalker didn't have any idea until he was
Right.
18, 19 years old, and
Right.
it suddenly became really good at it because during Rebels it's kind of like this possibly but not really it's just Ezra's the one and she's more just the Mandalorian, but here it seems like they might actually
You win this round.
I don't know, I just feel like they wouldn't have her try it like that if they weren't gonna eventually have her get there.
Yeah, narratively.
Yeah.
Let's see what Morgan's been hiding out here.
My last scan indicates the transport was in orbit on the far side of the planet. Whatever it is has a signature which is unknown to me.
Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna get a space battle. Oh, it's Shin. And Merrick. Alright, there were 6 ships though, it looked like.
I am tracking 2 squadrons of 3 crafts.
Tailgun, please. On it.
Ahsoka, always calm and collected.
Yep. Completely unfazed.
I mean, this is also mirroring A New Hope, where they're approaching the Death Star.
Yep.
And
100%.
Also when they're leaving the Death Star and they get into the...
Yep.
Man the guns!
I'm gonna split them. Ready? Ready. Now! Woo! I got one!
Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Two more down!
Nice.
I have sound, yeah.
I would say it is some sort of hyperspace ring.
I'd like to confirm that.
I shall deal with them.
Prepare turbo lasers.
Yo.
Turbo lasers.
Rock, form up on my wing and wait for my signal.
Okay, he talked.
You better get up here.
And they pronounced it Marok.
Look for Sam Witwer's name in the credits.
Yeah.
Open fire.
Yeah, turbo lasers. Nothing special.
This is intolerable.
You want it closer.
Echoes of C-3PO there.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Just a
This
moment.
is Sabine in the last season. One more second.
Morgan, congratulations. You almost got them.
Hmm.
We'll take it from here.
Our backup kicked in, but we're dead in space. No hyperdrive, no cannons.
We got incoming. Work fast. I'm going out there.
Out there? Out where?
Just keep working.
What?
She got a pod, escape pod. Hey, does she have a
She's
helmet on? She have a
chilling in
breather? She must have
space?
a
I was
breather.
like, she
yeah. She's wearing
has to, right?
She's wearing a... Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, wait, what?
For a minute, I was like, could she breathe in space?
I see her.
Okay, she's... Yo!
What?
Dude. This is nuts. Yo!
She's just flipping on top of the spaceship. That's wild.
We've seen Rey do that to Ben Solo, or to Kylo Ren. But not in space.
I got it. Don't get me.
Bruh.
Get ready.
Yo! This is like totally an Ahsoka scene right here. Ouch.
What? Come on.
Let's go.
I'm tracking something up ahead.
Space whale.
What is it?
Purgil. Yep.
Yo.
Yeah. They're like absolutely massive too.
Look, I mean, they really have captured how big they are, too.
Yo.
What?
There's a whole lot of them. This is nuts. So they got away?
That won't lose them for long. We're in pretty bad shape. Better set us down.
My battery back up a while to cycle, I suppose. What did I miss?
You almost died.
Multiple times.
Convenient.
Ah, yes. Standard operating procedure. Suppose that's true.
Shutting down.
Right, it's kind of like a reddish forest. That's why you turn the droid off.
Any sign of them? Nothing. They must be hiding in the forest. Let's regroup.
Are you all right?
Haven't seen those creatures since the day Ezra disappeared.
The good news is the enemy vessel is still under construction and not yet complete. A craft with these power levels and configuration would be capable of a hyperspace jump of astonishing speed and distance. The Jedi archives speak of intergalactic hyperspace lanes between galaxies, which used to follow the migration paths of star whales named Purgle.
There you go. Okay, so the Jedi were aware of this. Like he said that that Balin said that it was like, you know, tales that they
Right.
told the kids or
The
whatever, like
Jedi
stories. but-
archives, yeah.
Hunt them down.
He's done.
I wanted more Balin this episode. But I suppose we'll get more of him. So yeah, action heavy, space battle, lasted long, calling back to a bunch of A New Hope moments.
Yeah.
Getting in the gun turret, like, man the guns, shooting down
Yeah.
the TIE fighters that Luke and Han do.
The training
that.
sequence,
The
definitely.
training sequence was like, with the blast shield down, how can I see? Same
Yeah.
exact, like, you gotta trust your instincts and learn how to use the Force.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of that, like, mirroring A New Hope, which is cool, like, approaching the Death Star.
But when you think about it, this is going to be some people's entry point into the Star Wars universe, so they're repeating some of the same beats naturally because that's what draws you in.
That's also what
gets you
George
hooked.
Lucas was like his philosophy, that it's poetry and that it rhymes.
Yeah.
And that it has
refrains and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that fits in. I loved once again, the music is on point. I was saying that in that training sequence, the combination of the Eastern music with the wooden practice sabers, and even the style of her face mask that she was wearing, it had kind of like almost like an Eastern kind of look. It just felt very like a dojo, and like, oh, this is definitely like just calling back to like samurai training scenes. The way Ahsoka is always calm and collected, like even in those dire life and death scenarios out in space,
she's extremely
she was just
zen.
Like, knows exactly what to do. And she's so centered and balanced, which is funny because like as a character that's that balanced and that centered and that wise, you're like, it does leave you questioning like, where is her room for development? What will her development be? What will her conflict be? That's going to be her like, oh shit, like I don't know it all. I'm not this something that makes her
how does a character
things.
that evolve further?
And that's, I go right to Anakin, Vader. There's going to be some, because if, like I said, one possibility, this Marek character, who there was a decent amount of in this episode, he had even a couple speaking lines. It was obviously a voice changer, but if that is Starkiller, if that is like Darth Vader's secret final apprentice Inquisitor, that the idea of Darth Vader's apprentice fighting Anakin's apprentice, or them having
the instinct that you want it to be true, but I mean, I know they sound similar. Marek and Marok are
that is a very yin
name.
and yang, like Ahsoka, and like the way there's so much potential there. But whether or not that's her coming conflict or the thing that's going to really throw her off, like because we see her so balanced right now, we don't want her to just be like perfectly centered the entire show. We want her to get thrown off balance in the middle. That's how a story arc works.
That's what creates drama,
So right now it's like, is it going to be Balin telling her a story about Anakin turning into Vader and making her feel guilt about leaving the Jedi? Is there going to be something? Is it going to be Anakin himself, Vader? Like, is there going to be a Force Ghost Anakin, or is there just going to be flashback? We heard his voice in the trailer, so we know Hayden's going to be featured at some point.
Hayden's coming along.
So yeah, this was like an action episode that got them to where they needed to go in the next step in the process. So that I do like that, where it's like, okay, story's moving along. I still have that like, I need more. But like, this was like, okay, we got to the next beat. Ahsoka and Sabine got to see this Eye of Sion, and now are like fully like, yep, we're gonna go to a new galaxy. And they spelled
it all out that the Jedi archives, had records of this type of travel and the Purrgil and all of it. They spelled it right out.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm not sure exactly what the point was of the spacewalk, except for it looking cool. It seemed a little bit forced to me. It seemed a little bit like, what would be the wackiest thing we could have her do? Oh, let's have her spinning in space.
With that in mind, and with the Purrgil, like, you haven't seen really Clone Wars or Rebels, but this really, to me, had the feeling of like it was a Clone Wars or Rebels episode in live action. It felt like one of those animated episodes where crazy things like that, like Ahsoka would walk on the wing of a ship out in space and do that, or there'll be space whales. But it works. I like it. I like Rebels and Clone Wars, and this feeling like just an extension of that happens to be real people acting. Cool.
I mean, that's cool. The Purrgil scene I thought was beautifully shot.
Yeah,
that was really gorgeous.
You did get a sense of the scale. They're enormous.
They really captured the scale of
them. They
them.
didn't show them like glowing or anything, which they show them do like before they like, go off into hyperspace and stuff.
Yeah.
But I love how they kind of just in one sentence he spelled it out for the people that might not get it. They're like, oh yeah, like there were hyperspace lanes between galaxies.
Yeah.
They used like the space whales like Purrgil.
Yeah, and then she even said the last time I saw them was when Ezra disappeared. Like they gave you all the context for that if you're not familiar with that backstory.
And I pointed out in our discussion in the beginning how that Lothcat in the first 2 episodes, the animal behavior was the thing that just made me feel like yes. And the idea of like whales migrating long distances across the ocean is animal behavior that like fits. It's the idea of a space whale
traveling in pods, but
a bunch of whales traveling in pods long distances just makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow, even a crazy fantastical creature like that has a behavior that you can like liken to a real world animal, and it just seems so real, even though it's a flying space whale with tentacles, which is like, think of something crazier than that. I personally wanted more Baylan. I think we're going to get him. We've seen him talking to Ahsoka in the trailers. We know they're going to have a conflict at one point, or a confrontation. I'm really looking forward and hoping that we do learn more about his past and why he is the way he is and how Shin came to be. I still think she's like more than just his apprentice. I think that's his daughter. I could swear it just makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. The way she respects him and listens to him, not just in that like master apprentice way, but also kind of like, it just feels like a father-daughter relationship. Shin and Merrick, cool characters. I want more of them, but in this episode, it felt kind of clumsy the way they were unable to. I know they're not going to shoot down Ahsoka and Sabine. Oh, they got them.
Show's over.
Yeah. So it's like, but at the same time, it's very like, they're both like Force users. Like they're just like, she's like, well, you almost got her, Morgan.
Yeah.
I'll finish her off. Well, no, you won't.
Fails.
Yeah. So it just seems very like,
despite all the odds being in her favor.
Yeah,
and
6
everything.
against 1, and they're all just like but at the same time, you're like, yeah, of course it has to go that way. But at the same time, it's like to me, that took away a little bit from Shin and Merrick seeming like they're a huge threat. Here it's like they just couldn't get it done. So it makes them feel a little less threatening, which isn't necessarily the worst if they are able to get a lick in coming episodes. Like I said, I'm fully expecting Ahsoka to get knocked off her feet and have some bad stuff go down.
Yeah.
There's got to be some pain in
there has to be some drama so that you can like work through that,
And that could come in the form of narrative drama or human toll drama, or it could it could come in a bunch of different ways. Guys, I'm loving where it's going. This felt like the next step. Like it feels like we're still moving in the right direction. So that's what more can I ask for right now? Like I want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
What else can I ask for?
I share that. I also want to know what happens next.
So yeah, guys, let us know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. If you want to see this reaction fully unedited, go over to patreon.com/JediJai. That's where we put it up. We'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.